Okay, so you bought a mum or five maybe. How do you take care of it? Let me show you how to care for mums properly. Well, I have really good news for you. When you purchase that mum, most of the hard work is already done because the growers that grew that mum already did it. They already gave it the fertilizer and the light and the care that it needed in order to produce these beautiful flowers. So your main priority when you get this thing home is just to keep it watered because they can dry out really fast, especially if we happen to get a warmer or windier day. On warm days, watering might have to be done every day because these little pots dry out quickly, but the best thing to do is just stick your finger down into the soil. If it feels like it's still moist, don't water it. If it feels dry, give it some water. Now, when your mum is in bloom like this, you really don't need to worry about the amount of sunlight that it gets because it doesn't really need sun during this bloom period. So if you want to put it on your porch where it's shady, there's no problem. However, whenever you take this mum and plant it in your flower bed when it's done blooming, because it's a perennial, don't forget that, you will need to put it in a place that gets at least a half day of sun if you want it to have nice blooms for the following year. And that's always my recommendation for people is once this thing finishes blooming, take it out of the pot, go plant it somewhere in your flower bed, and then you get to enjoy it for years to come instead of just treating this like something that you buy and then throw away a few weeks later. Now, the big question I get whenever people ask about planting these in the ground is, do you have to cut them back beforehand? Yes and no. Let me explain. So with mums, you have what's called deadheading, where you actually just prune off spent flower blooms or dead flower blooms, and that's going to be a shortcut. And then you have the big cut, where you actually cut off all of the foliage near ground level. Now, the deadheading can be done at any time whenever you have flower buds that are done blooming, but the big cutoff should only happen after the plant has frozen and the top, all the foliage all starts turning brown and crispy. That's when you cut it. So hopefully you have learned all you need to know about these beautiful little fall plants and you can enjoy them at your house too.